Hi, everybody. Welcome to this interview by Core Recruitment. Thank you very much for joining us today. It's a 15-minute chat with about a really great new initiative called The Right Course, which is all about getting and rehabilitating prisoners after they're coming up to the end of their sentence. Core Recruitment, as you might know, is an international recruitment agency, and we get involved with some of our partner charities from time to time, and we always like to help out where we can. But this is one that we really want to get behind because it has a real social purpose, but also it's about solving some of hospitality's current workforce issues as well, which I think is really important. Now, to talk a little bit about the charity, The Right Course is one of its patron, one of its founders, the man, the marvel, who is Fred Sirieix. Fred, nice to meet you. How are you?
How are you, Christian? Very good. And you?
Yes, very, very good indeed. Thank you very much for joining us today. Much appreciated. So I just guess jumping straight into this, can you tell us a little bit about The Right Course and what its mission is?
Well, it's very simple. What we do, we open and run restaurants in prison, within prisons, which are run by prisoners in front of house and kitchen, so that when they are released, they can get a job. And that's very important, as you know, in terms of reoffending, because if people don't have a job upon release, they are much more likely to reoffend. And obviously, as you know, we've got a huge staff shortage in hospitality. So we really need to look after people like this and find a way to train homegrown talent and make sure that we can plug that gap.
Excellent. And I mean, obviously, I don't know if everyone's aware, but like you started things like Waiters Day and that kind of things. You must get approached all the time about getting involved with charities. What is it about The Right Course that really attracted you to being a part of it?
Well, for me is, I've had a very happy childhood. I've had everything that I needed and wanted, and, mainly it was love, and it was the support of my parents. A lot of people who are in prison, most people, in fact, didn't have what I had. And after 30 years of working in the industry, I think it's time to give back and do something good for society as a whole and help specific individuals within these prisons, who want to make a change. And it's just about providing an opportunity for people. That's all it is. And the Right Course is really a partnership of many different people and organizations coming together to create a scheme. Basically, it's basically creating a catering college, a restaurant within a prison that is able to teach people the skills and the values of hospitality, so that when they are released, they can be professionals and they can have a job, and they can live a law-abiding life, just like most of us, really.
Absolutely.
Or all of us, should I say?
Yeah,
Most of us.
exactly. That's the goal, right? I mean, obviously, kind of like this will be an inspiration to lots of different people. The fact that you've even been involved in it, and in researching for today, your backstory is pretty incredible in terms of where you came from and how you kind of come up through the ranks. I mean, who's kind of inspired you to get there? Who do you look up to in terms of your own career?
Well, I think it just started when I was a kid. My parents, because for them, they were both nurses, and what excited them and what they were doing their job for was for the patients. And they wanted to have, the patient to have the best possible experience within the hospital and within the wing that they were working in. And that boils down to the standards that you have, the teamwork, to your level of the level of professionalism that you have. And this is true in every single profession. And that really kind of set me straight with what I wanted to do, and kind of informed, if you like, my philosophy of service. Because whether it's a patient, whether it's a customer, whether it's a guest, it's about the guest first. It's about creating that experience and creating a memorable moment, so that all the friends and family of that person will come back to your restaurant. So this is what we are teaching at The Right Course. It's about those basics. The guest is king. And it's about having a vision where, we're here to create that amazing experience for the customer. And in order to do that, we have to have amazing teaching. We have to have amazing staff to teach the skills of hospitality to the prisoners, so that when they come out, they are as good as it gets.
Absolutely. And I guess that's one thing that people really do not think about kind of like maybe all the time is that, you know, lots of people are fortunate to come from stable backgrounds, have inspirational parents who are present and are there. And I guess this comes on to kind of like a little bit about your service user or kind of like the individuals who you're actually
Yeah.
developing. I mean, I think I'm right in saying that you've had about 60 who have completed the course over the past kind of like 5 years. Have you got any success stories about those individuals, what kind of backgrounds they came from and where they are now?
Well, the background of people, you know, they come from all sorts of background. And the thing is, you know, a lot of them, you know, I mean, obviously they ended up in prison for a reason or another. But the one who are within the right course now, they are ready to change their life, and this is why they've started the course. They want to do things differently, and they're ready to embrace a brave new world. And this is why they are there, and this is why we're teaching them now.
Thanks very much, Fred. So, I mean, I guess one interesting statistic that kind of like not a lot of people would know is that 27% of the UK adult working population in the UK actually has a criminal record. And 33% of working males actually have a criminal record. So when we're talking about the stigma which is attached to kind of like being in prison and the need to kind of like, you know, rehabilitate these people, it's obviously massive. Can you tell us a little bit about some of the challenges and some of the, I guess, some of the atmosphere for people like who are going into these environments and working with these offenders day to day?
Yeah, I mean, you hit the nail on the head here. It's about our preconceived ideas and our perception. You know, when you think about it, you know, 27% of people have a criminal record. You know, I don't know about your organization, but you know, maybe there are some people who are criminals. You know, they have a record and they haven't disclosed it. The difference when, you know, with the people coming from the right courses, they have to disclose it, you know, because they're coming from the right course, they're coming from a prison. But at least it's clear and it's upfront. But from my experience working in hospitality, working within prison and working with prisoners, the challenge and the difficulties of employing a person who is an ex-prisoner is exactly the same as employing somebody who is not. You know, now, for example, I hear colleagues of mine, you know, saying, oh, they've organized interviews with people and nobody turns up, for example, or it's the first day and somebody turned up on the first day, second day they don't turn up, you know, and this is what happens. This is the day-to-day reality of running a restaurant or running a hotel. And so I think that it's an opportunity to tap into a new workforce, a workforce which sometimes will be more motivated and more excited than somebody who's not coming from a prison. At time, of course, you need to have a little bit more TLC there. But at the end of the day, you know, when you employ somebody coming from a prison, they have to deliver and they have to do the same job as somebody who's not coming from a prison. And the contract, I'm not talking about the contract in the organization and the person, but the contract, the moral contract that you have and the expectations that you have with that person is exactly the same. From my experience going into prison, I never had a bad time going into prison. The people I have met there have always been very nice to me. I've always been very nice to them. You know, there are challenges when we do, for example, events, but with the same challenges that you have within the restaurant outside the prison are present within the prison. So there isn't anything for me that says, you know, oh, red flag, got to be careful with this or be careful with that. It's exactly the same. What is the difference? Is a stigma attached. But, you know, in our society, we're in a society where, you know, forgiveness and redemption is a value of ours that we believe in, supposedly. So if we actually say that we believe in, this is the time to prove it. And there's only one way to do it is by doing it and by giving people an opportunity, giving people a chance. Now, it's not going to work for everybody or with everybody, but at least if we can make a difference with one individual, that individual will be all we need, really.
Absolutely. And for a slightly obvious question, but in terms of who these people are serving, who their customers are, is it other inmates? Is it prison staff? Is it people coming in from the public? Who are they serving?
Well, we operate in closed prisons, so in category B, C, and D. So it's not open prison. So it is within the prison walls. So the customers within these restaurants are the staff of the prison, as well as the contractors and other organizations who work within the prison. You cannot just walk in and go there. You know, you'd have to be within the prison.
Absolutely. And in terms of like when people are coming out, did they get a certificate? Is there some sort of like qualification which is linked to this as well upon completion?
Yes, of course. I mean, they get a right course certificate, but the right course certificate underpins the various qualification that they've done, be it in front of house or cooking. Of course, you have to have the minimum standard in health and safety and so on and so forth. So they have the very basic qualification, a bit like if you're going to a catering college, if you like. But the difference with them is that they've actually practiced in real life, looking after and cooking for customers.
Absolutely. And in terms of cuisine types, do they have quite a varied exposure as well?
Well, it depends on the site. At Scrubs, for example, we change the menu weekly. So we have a menu, which is our daily menu, but we also have specials so that the men can cook, a French cuisine or Italian or Jamaican. They have all sort of themed menu in order to broaden their knowledge and elevate their cooking. But also
Excellent.
it's for the customers, to make sure that we've got something new and exciting for the customers. It is a real restaurant. And what it does, this restaurant, it just has the halo effect of the restaurant, but first of all, setting up a beautiful restaurant, but also, making sure that the atmosphere is right. And this is about the way that you train the staff, how the customers are going to be greeted as they walk into the restaurant. And you don't feel like you are in an austere Victorian prison. You feel like, oh my God, you're in a restaurant. Let's have some fun. Let's have some good food. And that changed completely the dynamic of the prison and the people who go within that restaurant. For a moment, you're not in a prison anymore.
Excellent, Fred. That sounds fantastic, and it sounds like you're making leaps forward with that. Just in terms of the business stage that you're at, in terms of like or the charity stage at the moment, in terms of it being 3 sites. I mean, I know from kind of previous calls and chats that you guys are looking at taking this like nationally. So this is a great time to get involved with the charity when it's quite small, so that there might even be quite a lot of career development for the right people as well.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, what we have in each prison, we have a manager and a chef, and this is fundamental to the delivery of the right course. But of course, as we expand, we will need, regional operation managers who are able to follow up and check and implement the standards of the right course. Of course, that is a given. And the best way to do that is to be within a prison and to work with us and to be one of the chef or the managers, so that you know exactly what is required, what we're looking for, and when the time comes, it will be ready to make the jump and to be that person that we will be looking for invariably. Yes, of course.
Excellent. Fred, I mean, it's been really great meeting you and kind of like learning a little bit more about the charity and what you guys are kind of like looking to achieve with this. I think it's inspirational that you're actually giving up the time to go and do this, and hopefully it inspires other people to get involved. And I mean, through our recruitment kind of like past and all that kind of stuff, we've worked with different contractors and stuff who are involved with prison services, and it really does improve those reoffending statistics when people have a career, when they have something to focus on, and they don't just fall back into the rhythm that they had before they go back before they got them into prison in the first place. So I think what you're doing is really inspirational, and I hope
Thank
people
you.
really get behind it.
Thank you very much.
You are very welcome. Thanks for speaking to us today.
Thanks, Christian.